Hey, it's Matt. Welcome to Unbearable 73. This is my review and review, I guess you would say, because I've watched it already, not reaction, to Reacher Season 2, Episode 8. It's been a great ride. Season 1 was great. The question is, does Season 2 end great? My review spoiler, it does. So, if you are one of those people looking for a review to decide if you want to watch something, this is not the review for you. If you are interested in my opinion about something, watch on. I full spoil everything in my reviews. No. Okay. So, let's see where to start. Well, last episode, Reacher had come up with a sort of like plan where he wanted to turn the trap his enemy had set upon his enemy, so to speak, right? Um, and with something like that, you have to be very careful when you're doing it because it can kind of come off as a little contrived. And I got the hiccups. See, no edits here, my friends. I'll try to keep the hiccuping sound away. Anyway, so it can come across a little contrived and therefore take away all the momentum they've built. Well, they nail it here. There were a couple points where I was worried, but then they pull it off. Okay, and Reacher remains very true to his character, and the story remains very true to Reacher's stories. Okay, um, so let's what else? What can I say? I do like the extended epilogue. Some people don't like extended epilogues, but it fits. You kind of have to know why these characters are separating again. Um, some people might not understand Reacher's character. Like I understand it because there's a part of me that likes being alone and exploring. Like even though I'm trapped at home, I like exploring. I mean, I do miss people, but I don't. Sometimes you don't get attached to people. Some of us are like that, and I can understand that in Reacher. He's just he's lost his family. His mom and dad. He was raised to always be on the move, and he's looking for something. Which I read the first 3 or 4 books. I was impressed that Reacher's looking for something. He wants to explore America, see it, see what's out there, but his type of character isn't random. So, at least psychologically, he knows he's looking for something, even if he can't figure out what that is yet. So, that being said, I've yapped quite enough to start with. Let's do a little walk-see-through-see, as it were. Okay, so this is the end of the last episode, so to speak, where they're doing a review. We get the torture scene. This is all the highlights. Blah blah blah. We got a good idea what's going on. So here's Reacher in there. Now, there's a scene in Doctor Who, with Matt Smith's Doctor, where he goes, "The worst thing you want to put in a trap is me, the Doctor." Well, in the Reacherverse, the worst thing you want to put in a trap is Reacher. When you're watching this scene, there is no there's no moment when you don't know in your head that Reacher knows he could kill all those guys. He'll take advantage of the slightest mistake they make and destroy them. And even the characters looking at him, like they're a little worried, but they know Reacher, so they're not panicking, right? They know if Reacher's there, he has a plan, and so it kind of, you know what I mean? Like you read the character and the way the actor portrays him and the way the setting is gives you confidence that Reacher is gonna save the day, as it were. Now, so here's Reacher starting to act out, blah blah blah, right, right. But I wanted to say, the villain's plan was to blackmail Reacher and say, "Oh, if you just come here, we won't kill any of you. It's not worth killing you." But he knows and Reacher knows that that's the case, and he's got to know that Reacher would have a plan. The problem is the villain. But the question is, are we overthinking that? Are we putting ourselves in the place like is this guy really that smart that he would think that Reacher has a plan? And I think he thinks of Reacher as a thug, okay, and doesn't understand that Reacher is just as smart as he is, if not smarter. Okay, so if some people might complain that the villain shouldn't have been outsmarted the way he was, but I think that's on purpose for underestimating and not understanding what he's dealing with in Reacher. You know. if you want a good analogy for it, it's kind of like what Ned Stark walked into in the Game of Thrones. He's a A-level lord. On the battlefield, he's top leader, good guy. I mean, he's not level A, but he's certainly level B on the battlefield. He's a great general. He's a great administrator. And he walked into King's Landing, but he didn't understand what he was walking into. And the villain of this show, of this season, doesn't understand what he was walking into with Reacher. So Reacher takes these guys out. Then he surrenders, showing that he at will. He just messed them up at will. Here's Neely on the outside, and Neely. This is another example. There are some people who are crying woke with Neely and other female character, but notice Neely never, like when she gets confronted by a dude who is equal or greater size than her, unless she uses her skill against him, she has to use a weapon or the environment. So she's being portrayed accurately as a capable, highly skilled military officer, military soldier, retired, but still as a woman, in a sense that men have physical advantages and get advantage from training. And the Reacher TV show shows that. She still kicks butt, and people who can't deal with her skill will get overwhelmed, okay? Because skill matters. One of the Gracies says oftentimes that one degree of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu belt, like say white to blue to purple to brown to black, is worth 15 to 20 pounds of difference in terms of what your skill can make up for, right? So, but if the person outmasters you enough, you can't make up for it. So when she's facing truly big guys, like almost Reacher-sized guys, she's been getting overwhelmed. She needs to use like the environment. She still was losing. We tried to save her our last episode, or the one before that, right? But against people who are close to her size, she can outskill them, and that's. So that's very realistic, not real in the sense of real world realism, but in the sense of portraying females accurately. Takes them out with the sniper rifle. Villain gloating. That's a classic trope of the villain's always going to gloat. Blah blah blah. He thinks he's won. Neely sees they're going to the helicopter. She's going to some action. All those beautiful computers. I wonder where they filmed this. I wish I had some of those computers. Now, here's a little bit of unrealism. Let's go back a second. I'm only mentioning this from a technical point of view, okay? Just from a technical point of view. Right? Given that setup, he pulls, I think, 2 or 3 hard drives out. You would have to go through extraordinary means for the data to only be on those 2 or 3 hard drives. I'm looking at that setup, and those things would have at least 1 or more redundant backups, for example. I'm just looking at what I see there as far as the computer setup. So I'm not saying you should hate the episode quality, but as a person who works in IT and with computers, you just notice stuff. Now these are the ex-soldiers, special forces, SEALs, Rangers, and whatever that the senator has on his staff, right? And obviously, I have not read the book this is based on, so I did not expect them to betray Reacher the way they did. I kind of thought that this was setting up maybe a reoccurring power guy that Reacher can do some business with in terms of, do some, like maybe he is a good guy who does some dirty things type of stuff. But, obviously they subverted my expectations, and I appreciate that in a good way. And realistically, that the backup power comes on. It's a data center. There'd be multiple redundant backups for that type of thing. Neely's infiltration approach here is great. She lures the guy in. I love how the bottle drop timed with the explosion. That was great. Reacher disappears. You guys are taking dudes out. My one little pet peeve, okay, is Reacher's team seems to never, I can understand they're just driving around the street, looking for stuff, investigating. But going into the situation, I can't understand how little ammo that they seem to carry. Now Reacher has no gun, okay? But Neely should have, I don't know, 10 or 15 clips carried on her at that point. And probably have an extra gun. And this is a nice shot. Reacher doing the Reacherism, and he's reaching for the copter, and she runs out there with the special forces guys and gets away as she sees Reacher going off. And this helicopter fight is an example of properly written. I mean, there's a touch of unrealism in the sense that I doubt any human being, even like Balfour Halfajorson, the strongest man in the world, could do what Reacher did here. Fine, within the setting, it's allowable. And I say it because those stretchers are probably 50 to 100 pounds. Okay, I've worked in a hospital setting. I recognize them. They're heavy for a reason. They have a big ballast on the bottom, so when you put big patients like me on them, you don't tip over. Maybe even more than 50, 100. Some of them are even heavier. Like the older ones could be 100, 150 pound stretchers. But anyway, this helicopter fight on board is borderline great. I was worried that they'd contrive a way out, but the way Reacher did it was pretty boss, And it had to be set up the way it did, because for this guy to get his just desserts and die the way he was executing Reacher's team, Although, I mean, I would have liked maybe Reacher to break his neck or something, just because but Reacher got the impersonal team vengeance, and I was okay with that. And this guy has to know he's dead. He knows. He just got to know it. I mean, so he did what he cooperated, obviously, but he had to know he's dead. And we get this part where they find. Now I was a little. Well, no, I wasn't disappointed because Reacher's team would not play around with a guy like this. They know he's an assassin type of killer. They would just gun him down. Perfectly fine with that. They fooled him, got the jump, and that was that. And this scene, I like Reacher's master plan. He, lets them go. You saw this coming a mile away, which is good in a good way. The betrayal, which I didn't expect, but okay, fine. Then Homeland Security shows up because Reacher's working with his brother's friend and partners in Homeland Security. And like this is my thumbnail. I love this scene. I love them walking in there, people looking at them funny. I love the sort of reaction, and then they just and they talk about the money. And I like what Reacher does with it. He distributes it. He takes care of the people's family died and everyone. And I don't know if the book says he gave it all away completely, or maybe kept a little bit for for all the for some emergency Reacher work type stuff. The crew having one more drink. I wonder if in the novels Reacher did start connecting with a little more, maybe meeting his old friends once or twice a year to keep up with them. One last little affair between lovers. Great, the bus scene. This is perfect. I'm wondering if they're gonna navigate the books when Neely shows up. Let's. I will take a look-see here. Yep, and so all in all, excellent season. So I'm going to take a quick look here at Neely's character. So Neely appears in 5 books: Without Fail, Bad Luck and Trouble, which was basically, I guess, the first 2, The Affair, Never Go Back, which in this continuity has already occurred, if I understand it correctly, and Night School. Well, Neely's mentioned Never Go Back. So I wonder if they're going to continue following up. Now, I just noticed something on the wiki. Francis Neely TV series. Go to the end here. Oh, okay. So there have been rumors. That's just how I end the TV series on the Reacher Wiki. So there have been rumors that they're going to do a spin-off of Reacher, maybe centered around her character as a private detective. That could work. I mean, I admit that could work. A little Reacher miniverse, type of thing. Anyway, so let's get my concluding thoughts on the series before this drags too long. Season 2 was just as good as season 1. It was great. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Alan Richardson. He's gonna get some work as a movie actor. I hope he remembers and loves this series. I heard he loves the character in the series. So even if he gets some big movies, I hope that he remains true to his ground launching point of view. And it's good in a way because although he played Aquaman in Smallville, he's pretty good in that too, right? Maybe he could be Aquaman. Well, I don't care about the new DCU that's being done by what's his face because I think it's going to be woke. But I think, and someone said he could play a great He-Man or a great He-Man or who's the other character they mentioned? Conan. I think we could get both of that out of him. But in any case, the point I'm going to get at is. There's a future for him and as an actor, and it looks like big screen actors have now considered small screen work to be something they're willing to do. So hope he remains faithful to the show that launched him to the platform. They're already filming season 3, so probably at the same time at end of 2024, December to January. If they keep that schedule, even with the writer's strike, that's pretty good. And Lee Child himself probably wrote a bunch of it, during the strike because he's not bound by it because he's an author. He can write whatever he wants. Plus, the novels have been written. He's really just adapting it, right? So share your thoughts down below. If you have any questions, ask me any questions. Share this video out. As of my speaking here, so to speak, I am at 98 subs on YouTube, and I think I'm up to like 10 or 15 on Rumble. So if you give me some subs, it's nice. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Comment down below. My name is Matt. This is Unbearable 773. Have a nice day.